I know what you're thinking. The carpenter's best friend is his hammer. Well, yes and no. I have many hammers for many different jobs. Some are for framing wood, some are for tin work, some are for finishing work. There are a few with a manual pneumatic pump, some work with compressed air, some are battery powered, and so on. I also have a bunch of saws, crosscut, slitting, trimming, coping, electric, etc. But here's the thing. I only have one utility knife, and I use it for everything. I use it to mark my cuts, sharpen my pencils, cut my strapping, start trimming when I need a clean edge, and when I'm packing coconut cake for lunch, I even use it to pick my teeth. It's with me all day, and I use it all the time. Like my hammers, it has become a natural extension of my hand. For those of you who don't know what a utility knife is, I should explain. It's a 3-inch blade, and only the last 1.5-inch triangle protrudes from a sturdy handle that fits my hand perfectly. The rest of the blade is locked into the handle to give it strength. With a light touch of my thumb, the blade retracts, and I can carry it in my pocket no matter what I'm doing. I change the blade regularly to keep it sharp, and I can cut anything I need with it with 1 or 2 strokes of the blade. The versatile knife is my best friend. So why am I telling you this? So my name is Carl Kantner, and I live in Kensington. I know. I'm Carl Kantner, the carpenter from Kensington. I heard it all the time from my friend Karen, or at least a former friend. After high school, I went to a trade school to learn carpentry. My dad said that if I was going to do it, I had to be the best, and I took my classes seriously. I studied hard. Throughout high school, I continued to date my high school sweetheart, and then worked to get a steady job. I was hired by a local guy who built luxury homes. I was in love and bought Karen a ring. I was just waiting for the right time to propose. Life was good until everything changed. As with most accidents, it was all my fault. I was feeling confident and working too fast. And that's why I hammered a nail with my battery hammer into my foot through my shoe. It wasn't life-threatening, but it hurt like a bitch. As soon as my buddies stopped laughing, they bandaged my foot, and Henry took me to the hospital. I know, they laughed at my misfortune, but that's what guys do to their friends. They laugh and say, "Stupid asshole," and then they help. I didn't call Karen because I didn't want to bother her. Eventually, Henry drove me home to our apartment, and with a bottle of painkiller to keep me company. Limping, I entered the house. It took me about 10 seconds before I heard the sound that broke my heart. I know it's cliché, but I heard Karen moaning from our bedroom and froze. Then I heard him grunt and rage in a red-hot rage. Anyone who saw me might have thought I looked ridiculous as I limped down the hallway to our bedroom. With each step, the pain got worse, and with each shot of pain, my anger grew. I opened the door, and there she was in front of me, that hairy white ass going up and down. I didn't know who it was. I never found out, and never asked. I didn't care. All I knew was that he was sleeping with Karen, and she was obviously enjoying it all. Looking back, I know I was lucky. If I'd had a tire iron, I would have killed him and then gone to jail. If I had a hammer, I would have done the same thing. And you all understand what I would have done if I had a gun. All I had was my all-purpose knife, my trusty all-purpose knife. I watched that hairy white ass go up and down. I could hear its grunts and Karen's reassuring shouts. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my knife, flicked the blade, counted down, and on the tide. I cut his asshole from right to left an inch deep with one deliberate stab. My blade was sharp and went through his skin and muscle relatively easily. For one moment I saw a purple-red smile appear on his butt cheeks. He reflexively jerked away from the knife, though not in time, causing Karen to scream in pain as he practically pushed her off the bed. It was a scream I could appreciate. Actually, there were 2 screams, his and hers. He almost flew over the bed and flew off the edge, landing on the floor with another scream. Yes, he landed on his ass. My cheater was on her side of the bed screaming at him, still unaware that I was in the room, until she saw the fear on his face. She turned around and saw me with his blood covering the blade of my favorite instrument, and cried out again. I must have looked mad. I could definitely feel it. My foot was bandaged, and I could barely walk, so there wasn't much I could do. If he had gone after me, I probably wouldn't have been able to defend myself. But he didn't. I stared at them in silence, and then I turned and walked out of the apartment. I limped over to my neighbors, my friends, and banged my fist on their door. They later confessed that they saw me at the door with rage in my eyes and a bloody knife in my hand, and it was more than alarming to them. But I told them what had happened, and they took me in. They got to my house in time to see Karen's buddy running out the front door, holding a towel to his ass. Blood was soaking his pants. They said Karen was hysterical. It wasn't that ha-ha tantrum, but more of a oh my God, oh my God, oh my God type tantrum. I thought I was going to be very soon, but my friends who came back from Karen's apartment said, "It's good for Karen that you were able to save her from that rapist." Oh, he wasn't. We said, "It's good for Karen that you were able to save her from this rapist, you know. It's good to have loyal friends." The cops did arrive very soon. My friends and our neighbors said they saw Karen's rapist running from the house just before I came to their door. I said the same thing and added that I went next door to get help for Karen. I may not get the Boyfriend of the Year award for leaving her home after I chased her rapist away. We all understood that. But I was in shock over my leg injury and then went in to find my friend who had been assaulted. Karen didn't say much, but after a short time, she decided she'd rather play the victim than the con artist. So for a while she agreed. Her buddy told a different story, and when confronted with those words, Karen retracted her words. I don't know if we convinced the police even a little bit that I really thought I'd seen a rape, but they never had any evidence to the contrary. Hey, I was on painkillers at the time. I may have even been in shock. It was an honest mistake. After she went to the police, I was free to dump her cheating ass without arousing further suspicion. The same friends who made fun of my leg helped me leave her house. It stopped being our house the moment I saw her in our bed fucking that hairy asshole. When I went back to my in-laws for a while, I paid the usual moving fees, beer, and pizza. I couldn't help but admire the bloody stain on the carpet next to the bed, which everyone asked about as we packed up my stuff. Of course, they all knew the story. They just asked that I have a chance to smile through the pain. Karen called for weeks, but eventually she got the message about our breakup. Her parents tried to stand up for her, but I told them the story, and that was the end of their efforts. It was a shame because I really liked them, and they seemed to like me too. I think my parents were just as disappointed as I was. They really loved Karen, but later admitted that she was too immature for a serious relationship. Sometimes I think about the years we spent together and imagine what a horrible hell my life would have been if I had married her. Like I said, I never found out who it was, and I don't care. I never listened to her apologies. Her lover's bleeding ass was now left in the rearview mirror. Sorry, I just had to say it, and I moved on. This is the story of how I dodged a bullet after failing to dodge a nail. I learned that I have good friends. Each one's wife has a woman or girl they want to introduce me to. I think once I stop limping, I'll be all right. I'm sorry. I know it's not such a big story. For weeks, I've had this mental image of taking my all-purpose knife and, with one stroke, deeply cutting through the up and down asshole that so badly needed a sharp blade. It's hard to imagine a more humiliating way to get revenge that wasn't fatal. It felt good to get it out of my life.